Hey everyone!
Hi guys.
It's Sarah here with Julie of bioluminescence.com.
Hello.
And we are going to chat with you today about flower essences. So we'll wait just a minute and see if we'll wait, and we always got to wait and see if anybody can join us live. Yeah, it should show us when people start coming on live. It'll give us a number.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I just ramble like a crazy person
Okay.
until somebody joins us. See, we have 1 or 2 viewers.
Okay. This is all new to me.
So remember, if you're watching live, it says live on the screen. If you're watching on the replay, it won't say live. Good morning, Jessica, and then we'll see comments and questions over here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Morning, Jessica.
And you can ask questions on the replay, but we have Julie here with us now, and so she's here to answer questions now. So good morning, everybody. All right, so we got some people on with us. So like I said, Julie, she's here with me live. You guys aren't used to seeing me live with a person. It's always distance through video.
This is cool.
Yeah. So Julie is braving my disaster of a house to come chat with you guys this morning. So like I said, she is the magic maker behind biolumenessence.com, and I have her sorcerer, you can say it, her sorcerer blend. Which way does it go? Flower essence here that Anna gave me. You guys all know Anna. So let's just get started. So Julie, tell us about you, like what you do and how you got started with flower essences, how you learned about this.
So it's really hard to pick a defining moment when I just got started. I feel like I've kind of been doing it my whole life. Starting from when I was like 6 years old in my grandmother's yard. She had a magnolia tree, and I would pick the petals and soak them in water and think I was making perfume,
Oh, that's so cool.
So that was kind of like in this lifetime, but there's definitely this like ancient piece that I feel like I've been doing this for like thousands of years in a way.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people here can probably relate to something similar. You know, feeling like it's just within you. You just knew it.
Yeah, like I was making them before I was ever really making them, or there was always a resonance there for me. So through the years, 21 years ago, I took my first Reiki class. And then at that same time, I was getting into herbalism. And so I've always kind of been walking this path between like herbalism and energy work. And what I love about flower essences is that's kind of where the two of them meet, because flower essences are very energetic in nature. And they work really well on the energy body and on the nervous system and on your light body. And so yeah, they're cool like that. So, I really intensely started making them about 10 years ago. And I was, in an herbal program at that point. And I don't know if that's like when I feel like I don't remember if that's when I officially learned how to do it, but that's when I really started making them.
That's really cool. So I'm going to ask you a random question that I did not prepare you for. Okay. So you've been doing this for like ever, right? And you feel like it's part of your soul being.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like there's definitely a rise in like all this woo-woo kind of herbal witchy stuff.
Totally.
So do you feel like that there is kind of a, like that we're maybe losing something in our connection to all of this with like you could, I bet right now you can walk into Walmart and buy essential oils. So I bet, in like 2 years you can walk into Walmart and buy flower essences.
That's totally
That's going to be like the next thing.
Yeah.
Like we can go to TJ Maxx and buy our crystals.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So do you have any like just random thoughts on that or feelings about it? Like, is it kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get, so what, it's interesting because right now I feel like flower essences aren't really known. Everybody knows essential oils, but nobody really understands these or how they work. And I keep saying to people, and I use that example of TJ Maxx, know, and I was like, in a couple of years you'll be, but I don't think, my feeling with flower essences is that they can't be mass produced in the same way that like essential oils can, or, like herbal remedy. I guess they can, but like they're going to lose something in that process because so much of what goes into them is intention and energy, and you can't mass produce that. You know? That's my sense on that. But definitely, I mean, we've seen the progression. I mean, like I said, I've been sort of in this industry for a long time. And when I first started getting into it, like nobody knew what Reiki was.
Right.
And oh my God, you want to study holistic medicine? Like you're crazy. And like nobody was buying organic or knew what GMOs were.
Yeah.
And so it's like just over the past like 5 years, it's been amazing. And I think people are starting to get more in tune with like subtler energies and more natural ways of working with whatever's going on with them.
Right.
And so, and that's, I think, where these sort of come in. And I think that it's going to be the next thing.
I think it's pretty cool, you know, that people are catching on to all these things, but it's also some part of me sometimes is like, you know, should we be having our essential oils like from Walmart or something, you know, like,
right. Yeah, no, they're not quality essential oils that you're getting from Walmart.
It's interesting to me because even, I always say like, I've been into like the witchy kind of things like tarot, and I was buying like books on like paganism and stuff when I was a teenager, but even like the energy stuff and essential oils, that's newer to me, you know.
Oh, okay.
And I think it came newer to me in like the last probably, I don't know how old am I, so probably when I was like, I'm in my 30s, so probably around like my early to mid 20s is when I kind of hit my radar. But like still just the boom all of a sudden where like out of left field, you know, I go to dance class and like this mom who's feeding her kid like a Happy Meal is also like rolling her essential oils on.
That's so great. I love that.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's so cool. There's still like so much work to be done though.
Right.
It's so cool. Anyways, I thought I'd ask you like what your take on.
And I think anything that's going to get us more connected to nature, I think is a good thing, because obviously, I mean, we all live in this world. We see what technology is doing to us and how it's completely tearing us apart in some ways. That finding our center and getting back in balance and like being healthy and all of that really comes back to taking care of ourselves, taking care of the planet. You know? And
so random side note question.
Good question.
I'd ask you about. Okay, so you make all these flower essences, right?
Yep.
So do you do it just at home, or do you have a
I have like a production facility kind of set up in my a production space set up in my home. But
these are like they're like legit. Like their branding is so good.
I appreciate that.
So, what I mean by legit, like they just, it looks so good. Like you know, did your due diligence.
I did. They've been a work in progress for a very long time. I feel like they finally started coming into being like in the past few months. You know, it's like I was able to feel the energy of them and know like, you know, when you can like feel the essence of something, but you don't have like the visual and the, so it all just kind of came together. Not that any of this makes sense, but
it totally does.
Together.
Made it into a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are flower essences exactly?
So flower essences are, so they're liquid extracts that work on the energetic, emotional, and spiritual levels of your body. They're different than essential oils, and they're different than herbal tinctures. They're not, they don't contain any physical plant material or chemical components or anything like that. The way that they're made is, it's sort of this alchemical process where, you know, the flowers are sitting in a bowl of water and, you know, they're allowed to sit in the sun or the moon, or I like to put some of them in the storm to catch that kind of energy. And then the water kind of captures the vibrational imprint of the plant, and then it's preserved with brandy. And so you can take them internally, you can use them topically. I like to, you know, use them in like ceremonial practice when you're doing any kind of offering out on the land, or you can put it in your water when you're watering your plants. You could give it to your pets. So there's like so many.
Awesome.
There's so many. I love you too. There's so many things you can do with them. Traditionally, I mean, so you guys might know Bach, Rescue Remedy. That's the most famous. People are giving it to their pets. You can probably buy it in Petco now. You know,
see, it's ready.
So it's out there. I just don't think I don't think Bach talks about like the woo factor of them. And like for me, that's what I love about them. It's like they're kind of, I don't know, they're just these magic little potions. Yeah. So so yeah, so that's the gist of kind of like how they're made. And you really, I think they're most useful, like I was saying, for like issues of like your emotional, mental, spiritual stuff. So like if you have patterns you're trying to shift through, old beliefs, you're doing inner child work, or even like manifesting work, or that kind of stuff, like the stuff that kind of exists in the subtle realms that you can't like take an Advil for, you know what I mean? Like these subtler things sometimes you need something to kind of move that along. I don't know if that makes sense. I started referring to them as nature's liquid light workers because I
love that.
Well, they feel like that to me.
You should trademark that as your tagline.
I have so many. There's so many things I could trademark. I've got one in the works, but yeah, I have been using that on my website. So what I mean by that, like, I would go for energy healing sessions or whatever, and then after you, like, while you're on the table, it's that feeling of like, you're being held and you're being seen, and someone's helping you work through your stuff, and maybe you're bringing in higher energies, and it's like these are like little energy healers in a bottle, and I think that's so cool. So there's something else I was gonna say about that, and I totally forgot.
Yeah, maybe I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But we have, so Adeline is asking a question. How long do the flowers stay in the water, and how long does the process take?
So you want to leave the flowers in the water for at least 3 hours. I'm not really rigid with the timing of things. I kind of just feel it out and see, depending on, what the weather's doing, and just connecting with the plants. They tell you, it's like when you go to harvest them, they kind of tell you which ones want to be in there and which ones are volunteering their medicine, so the whole process, it's hard to say. I mean, I would say like 4 hours. So you make that and you preserve it in brandy, and then you have like your mother essence, and then from there you're making your dosage bottles. So I would say probably at least 4 hours to just do that main piece, and that's not including like bottling and labeling and all that. That's something else entirely.
Yeah, we do that. And my daughter goes to this nature program, and Jacob, awesome. Anna and Nick's son, and we ask the plants before we pick them from the garden. They do cooking there, and we always ask the plants first if that plant's ready to be picked, and chosen. And my husband makes so much. He's not like a hippie guy at all. He makes fun of us all the time. He's like, "Are you gonna go outside and ask the carrot?" I'm like, "Yes, yes,
exactly.
We're going to ask the carrot."
I remember. So this was probably like 20 years ago. I did this. I was in this biodynamic gardening program, and my teacher was saying, like, it was all based on the teachings of Rudolf Steiner, the Waldorf education.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been the first time I heard, especially an adult, talk about like plant spirits, because he was talking about like the trees on the property and how, they had to cut them down, but they were having conversations with the tree spirits beforehand. And whenever they would, the trees would fall perfectly where they need them to. And like, if they didn't, it was a big disaster.
I love that.
So there's definitely something to that. And there's definitely, it's real, even though we don't see it, you know? And I think we're moving into the place where more people are seeing that and being tapped into that. just as evidence as like what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So
let's see here. So Becky is asking, I don't know if I can scroll up on the comments. I have my phone here though, if I can't. But so Becky is asking, does it matter what kind of water you use?
So I think so. So water, like you guys are probably familiar with Dr. Emoto and his studies on talking to water, saying, nice things to water versus like not nice things.
Yeah, I have, but we've never talked about it in the group.
Okay. So if you're not familiar, check him out, because he does these, I don't know if it's like microscopic photos of water, and you can see the crystalline structure when you say, love or gratitude to water versus like, I hate you, you're ugly, or whatever. Right. So that in itself says something about water. But I like to use spring water just because it feels most natural and it's the freshest and the most alive. I structure my water before I make the flower essences with it, and I have a special vessel that I create the flower essences in, that they're stored in, that's etched with sacred geometry. So there's a lot of intention around that, because my belief is that structured water holds information better, and so flower essences are liquid information in a way. So
I would say, so one thing, that study that Julia was mentioning, it's really cool, and it shows, and it's people talk about it a lot in relation to how you talk to yourself also,
Right.
like the self-worth that you know that you have for yourself. So when you're saying to yourself, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, whatever, and then you say these things to the water, you can see what it's doing to your internal self, you know.
Right.
It's a really, really cool study.
Yeah.
And then probably on a practical note too with the water, just like as a completely practical note, I know that like here where I live, we have well water,
Yeah.
and we have tons of copper in our water.
Oh yeah.
So then I feel like it would like go bad
you
or
could
something.
use
so
like
boil it
distilled
out.
water or something like that. And like tap water, depending on where you live, is going to have fluoride in it, and you want to just stay away from that. So
because I know with us here, well, just in my house, like our water, we drink it, but it probably wouldn't. I wouldn't trust it to not make something go bad over time.
Filter it.
Yeah. So I think I missed a comment.
I saw something about a flower oil, but I
yeah,
didn't read
I
the
think
whole
there
question.
was. I know, and I don't think.
You
Look
can't
at me.
scroll up on the comments.
I don't know. That's my daughter over there. She's dressed like a Southern belle today. Let me see if I can find them here. Let's see. Here they are. Okay, it's a matter of kind of. Oh, somebody asked, what is mother essence?
So the mother essence is like a concentrate. So that's where you have like the flowers that you harvested and the water that sat in the sun, and then you're adding brandy to that. So after you take the flowers out, you take the flowers out before you add the brandy, and then you filter it, and then you have your mother essence. And so flower essences are almost homeopathic in nature. They're further diluted, and the idea is that the more diluted they are, the more potent they are, which in our world, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around how that actually works, but that's how it works. So you have your mother essence, and then you have like your stock essence, and you have your dosage bottles that are all further diluted. So the mother essence is just the concentrate that if you have like a big bottle of it, it'll last you a lifetime.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Kelly's asking what did you make flower oil? What would a good carrier be? I have a lavender one, but I bought, but I'd like to make my own and try different combinations of flowers. So is that basically using like essential, like putting this with an oil?
Are you talking like you want to make an essential oil blend, or you're using the fresh flowers for that? So you want to, if you're just taking the fresh flowers and you want to just have them sit in the oil and give off their scent, and then you're going to strain it. I like jojoba really for any purpose because it has the longest shelf life. It won't smell rancid. Because sometimes, like if you use sunflower or it's with fresh flowers. Yeah. I mean, you can really use whatever carrier you want. But like I said, jojoba won't have that rancid smell. And so you can do that, but make sure you take your fresh flowers out after they sit for a while, because the water in them is going to make it go off with the oil.
Nice tips.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me. So, Adelina, do you add equal parts water and brandy?
For the mother essence, yes.
Yes. So, do you have any? This is another question I'm preparing for. Do you have any, like thoughts on working with flower essences versus working with crystals? I have some thoughts, but do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I like working with both of them, and I feel like they're very complementary.
Mm-hmm.
I would never choose one over the other because, I mean, crystals are a love of mine too.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Oh, I was just thinking that if you are a person that's like really like a nature spiritualist person, that what you can put into making a flower essence, or even taking one that you made and, honoring the effort that went put into it, to me seems like almost more like ritualistic than grabbing up a crystal from like a store I didn't know where it came from or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's so much put into flower essences that there's something special to that. Not that there's not. I got a stash of crystals out there. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like, I don't know. Like I know a lot of them. I know what countries, because the shop I buy them from, she labels like the country they came from. But I don't know anything else about them. Like
that's true. Like how sketchy is that industry?
Like dug it up. Yeah, but like a flower essence. I mean, like if I was purchasing it, like small batch from you or something, or like I don't know. I don't typically make things because I'm pretty lazy that way. But it just feels like there's something special to a flower essence. But when you were talking about it, it seemed to me like they kind of work on a similar,
yes,
like playing field,
yeah.
you know, like
I would say so. I think they're just different elements, you know, you have
exactly
the plant kingdom and the rock kingdom, or however that works.
Yeah. So did we talk about the difference between an essential oil and a flower essence for anybody who doesn't know?
I don't know if we did or not.
Yeah.
So essential oils, first of all, essential oils take so much more plant material to make them flower essences.
Mm-hmm.
I did a distilling workshop a couple of years ago, and we harvested juniper or something, and I think we needed 35 pounds of juniper branches to get not even an ounce of essential oil. It takes 65 roses to get 1 drop of rose essential oil. So as far as like just on the sustainability end of things, flower essences are so much more sustainable because you're not like over harvesting and all that. Right. I love essential oils. I'm an aromatherapist. I have a lot of, I have a lot of love for them. So I'm not bashing them in any way, but just to sort of give you the distinction of how that works. So essential oils are going to have different chemical components and different therapeutic and medicinal properties that are measurable, that you can, do get a GCMS report and just see everything and know exactly what's going on in them. Yeah. Flower essences, if you test them, I don't think science has caught up with them yet. So there's not really a measurable sort of thing that you can say, this has this or this has that, so it's more just. Yeah. So. I think that something that you mentioned too, which is something to think about, is with flower essences, which hadn't occurred to me till now. I think it would be important to know where it's like the process that somebody's using to make them, because it's the essence. And so if you're just like, I don't know, like me, if I were to make it like a flower essence, like really, it would probably just be the hodgepodge of nonsense on my kitchen counter that I got irritated with, and that's not like an essence that I want, right? So now that like talking to you, I realize that it would probably be really helpful to actually like know where the flower essence is totally, and that sort of brings something else up for me to share. So. I've gotten asked the question a lot from people of, how come I read this book and it says that this flower is for this and this one, and somebody says that it's for this. And my experience with flower essences is, they're not that they're totally subjective, but there's so many other factors that influence it. It's like, where was it grown? What was the soil like? What was the intention of the person growing it? What was the astrology like when it was planted and when it was harvested? And what kind of water did you use, and what were you thinking about? And there's so many I think about, I love bees, right? Yeah. So I'm like obsessed with them, and like watching them pollinate flowers is just insane. And they do this thing, you may have seen this, they call it sonication pollination. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the buzzing. Yeah. And I'm also kind of obsessed with like sound and frequency and geometry and like how all that all plays together and all of this. Obsessed with. Right. And so like, what is the frequency of the bee's buzz doing to the flower before you harvest it, and how is that impacting the flower essence? You know what I mean? Like all these little things. So like, what one person has in their dandelion flower essence is going to be completely different. And also when you take it internally, if one person says, even if it's the same from the same batch, right? Like you and I both take the same flower essence, we may have different experiences because of your own internal makeup, your own energy, and the way that it interfaces with your own energy. Yeah. So it's like, I kind of, the analogy I've been using lately is like, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's like the only way I can explain it is like, it's like butter, right? So like you put butter on like warm broccoli and it's going to be a different thing than if you mix it with like sugar. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's your own sort of. You're so perfect to talk to them, because this is all. I always say I'm like the best but worst teacher, because you'll ask me what crystal should I use for something, or like what essential oil or what color, and I'll be like, well, I don't know, like what feels good to you. That's my answer, which is not a good teacher. Well, no, I mean that's true. And they're used to my weird analogies too. So this is perfect. That's a perfect analogy for this crowd. Oh, the cat's over here. Do you want to come hang out? He'll accidentally claw you trying to jump on you. So just heads up on that. Okay. He'll dig in trying to jump up there. Okay. So thank you for sharing all that. He'll do a number on you. So what do you do with the flowers when you're done? Do you dry them and use them for anything? I really know. So I like to return them to the earth as an offering. So you can dry them and save them. but you don't have, I mean, really whatever you're drawn to do, you know, as long as it's in a respectful way, I think that that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's that answer again. Whatever feels good to you. So do you guys have the people that are here watching, do you have any questions, anything you want to know more about? You can think about it. Do you want to share with us some of the kinds that you have here? So like I showed you mine. This is my personal one that Anna snagged me from her store. You all know Anna works at the natural food store. So this is the Sorcerer blend.
Yeah. And so this one is this one's called Enchanted. And
I love it.
She didn't give you one of these. I'm gonna leave this.
I think she has that one. She might have that one.
Okay, well I'll leave this one with
I think
you.
she gave me Sorcerer because I'm like
witchy.
Yeah.
So this is a forest fairy synergy, and this one was made as a request from someone that they wanted like a fairy blend. And so, and I love the story of this because it's just kind of funny, like the way that nature speaks to us if we're listening and paying attention, you know? And so like I needed to make this essence, but like time was kind of running out, right? And I was going to the woods and it's like none of the flowers that I was finding were the right ones, you know? And it's like you can't just pick anything and be like, yeah, okay, we'll do, you know, it's like there's a little more to it than that. And so I went to this different spot on a different day and I'm walking through the woods and I'm like, there's no flowers around. What's going on? Like, did I miss all the flowers? Did they stop blooming? Like, what's happening? And then I get to the top of this hill in this clearing and it was just teeming with wildflowers, right? Like hundreds of them, and bees and butterflies and dragonflies and grasshoppers and ladybugs. And there's like this waterfall. And I was like, so this is where we're harvesting these flowers from. You know, and so it was, you know, it's just a nice reminder to me to like, you know, trust that and always be listening and paying attention to that instead of trying to force it and being like, no, I need to make it today on my agenda. It's like, no, there's always another way.
I love that.
Yeah. And so this essence, I mean, it does a lot of different things, but the core of it is really like connecting you to earth energy and the elementals and tuning into the fairy realm and all of that.
We just did fairy month last month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this month we're talking about dark and light and like goddesses and our shadow selves and whatnot. But it's our birthday month, which is why we're doing all this programs a year. Well, it's our program's 1 year birthday, so that's why we're having extra fun stuff this month. But cool. That's so that's what else do you got?
So yeah, so this is consciousness. This is echinacea. I don't know. I should show it to you guys. So echinacea. I'm not. This is all new to me, right? And then surrender, which is California poppy. And so the way that getting back to like how do I know how they're what they're all for? So I mean, everybody sort of has their own way of determining that, whether it's through like the doctrine of signatures or looking at like how many petals or the colors or where it grows. Like those are all like totally legitimate ways to get information about flowers. Given all those other examples I told you before about the other influencing factors with flowers, after I make a flower essence, I sit down with the mother essence and I connect to it like energetically, intuitively, or whatever. And this is gonna sound crazy, but like, so
nothing's crazy here for us.
That's true. I forget who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I love this. So I almost like it's almost like an energetic code that kind of comes through, and it's like I'm reading that and translating that, and that's how I get like the words and like what it's all for. So like if you read any of these things on my website, like it's all pretty much just channeled directly from the essence itself. None of that is me being like, this is what I think this is for. It's all so. That's how that all happens.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we don't think that's weird at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Here. I make choices during the day based on what I think my higher future self is telling me to do. So, you know, I talk to my future self and you talk to plants. So together we're probably a pretty good team.
Exactly.
So Jessica asked, how do you store the mother essence?
So I have, so they're stored in glass bottles. I have like a cabinet where they're stored, and they're stored under, I'm kind of obsessed with pyramids. So they're stored under a pyramid, which I feel like sort of activates and holds the energy.
And Adelina, does it take a lot of flowers to
When
make
you
make each batch?
No. You can, depending on the flower, again, like you want to kind of connect to it. I guess it also depends on what you're making an essence of. Like you generally want the surface of the water to be covered with flowers. So if you have something that's like one giant flower that covers the surface of the water, that's plenty. You don't need more than that. But if you're doing like a bunch of tiny little wildflowers, I would say you need more of them. But again, you can say, I want 5 flowers because 5 is my number. You can do it however you want. There's no hard and fast rule. It's
That's awesome.
all really just tuning into yourself and listening.
You know what we got to get you to do? Teach a video workshop on making flower essences.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, no.
It's on the list of things to do. It is.
I
So.
shall hound you to do that.
Okay.
So do you guys have any other questions about so we're getting a thumbs up for that, about flower essences or the differences in flower essences? So you mentioned, you mentioned so many good things. I don't think that I have any other real questions. I'm just trying to think
So-
if there's anything that I have in mind that I didn't think of yet.
So while you're thinking, I'll just
Yeah.
mention this. So on my website, I have a flower essence oracle where you can do like a little reading that'll pop up 3 flower essences
Oh, that's
for
fun.
you and tell you all about them.
Did you make your own website?
Yeah.
You should make that happen on my website.
Oh, I didn't build that piece, but I can.
My website
Yeah.
stinks. So flower essences. So you mentioned though things like what's happening astrologically. So it would stand to reason to me too, maybe thinking of like what's happening in the environment where the flowers, kind of like what we're saying with crystals, like we don't really know what's happening, like where the flowers are grown,
Like are they
like
growing
what's
under power
happening.
lines? Or are they growing in
Right.
like a pristine field?
Yeah.
So there's
make a difference.
all kinds of.
It's really cool to think about, and it really like I've thought about with crystals before, like where they're coming from and whatnot, but I hadn't really thought of it with flower essences until
Yeah.
you sat down. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alina, do you ever add crystals to the batch or crystals around?
So I have this enormous amethyst that sits underneath I call it my charging table, which is where like the water vessel sits.
Yeah.
And so all the essences are on that table at some point during the process, sometimes a few times. So they get charged up with that piece. I have made essences that do have crystals in them. I'm trying to think if I think all the flower essences that I've made are just separate. And then I have gem essences that I've made. And then I have a whole other bunch of other essences that I haven't even put out into the world yet that are like sort of, I call them galactic alignment essences.
Oh
that
my
I made when
goodness.
I was living in Sedona with all these like transits and
You've got to get those out there. That we've got
Yeah.
a population of people in here that are all about the extraterrestrial.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Oh my God, you guys are my people.
You're
Oh my
at
God.
home here, weirdos.
Oh my God, I love it.
There's this you remember the movie The Craft in the 90s?
Yeah.
Like there's this scene where they're getting off a bus and they say, the guy tells them, watch out for the weirdos, and one of them turns around and says, we are the weirdos, mister. So it's this meme that's like all over the place, but I always liken that to us here on the internet.
Yeah.
Like we are the weirdos.
I love it. And we all found each other, which is so great.
Yeah, you're hanging out amongst the weirdos,
I
but
love
get those together because they're
I know. I mean, I will.
a group of us in here that are all about the extraterrestrial experiences.
There's definitely something otherworldly about flower essences, but I feel like especially so living in Sedona, I feel like you can't help but kind of be tapped into that sort of galactic.
Yeah, that's what I've not been
Interference.
there, but that's what I've heard from people who've gone there. Well,
Yeah.
even seeking out that kind of
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of that seeps through in these. Like, and you'll see if you like read about any of them on my website. Like, a lot of it is you might recognize yourself in that.
Super cool. So, do you guys have any last minute questions for Julie before I cut her loose?
Thank you for doing this.
Oh,
I
you're
know
welcome. This
you've
is so
not
fun.
really done a lot of video things, right? Or
No.
any video
No,
things.
I hide.
So those of you who don't know, so Julie knows Nick. They know Nick, some of them from
Oh, yeah.
astrology type stuff that we do. They call him Mr. Enchanted.
I love that.
And obviously Anna as well. So
Yeah.
that's how Julie came to be here.
Connected.
Yeah, and since she lives here in Connecticut, she was going to be down this way and was like, "Hey, let's do it together live." And I was like, "Sure. If you want to brave my house, you can come over here."
Great.
So, all right, I don't see any other questions. Julie's website is in the description, and I think she has a special.
Yeah,
will have one.
No,
or-
so I do. So,
Okay.
so it would be 20% off for you guys if you want to order anything on the website. You can just use the code Enchanted20.
Is it lowercase or capital?
Lowercase, and then just the number 20. And then also right now on my website, like when you buy 2 flower essences, you get a bottle of Enchanted free. So that would be in addition to the discount that you're getting. So, yeah, bioluminessence.com.
Biolumenessence.com. And I'll put that in the group too. I don't know where my comment went. I think it's on there. It's showing up here. Yeah, and I'll put that in the group so that everybody can see it and make sure you guys see it more than once. Also, I know that I will be taking advantage of that.
If there's any other questions you have, I mean, you can, I don't know how this all works.
Yeah, you guys,
message me or
if anybody
whatever,
puts any questions that aren't like covered and that, I can't answer based on what you said, then I can definitely shoot Julie an email and get them answered for you guys. For sure. Are you in our Facebook group? Our big one? Probably not. Are you on Facebook?
I think I am.
You are?
I'm on Facebook. I don't spend a whole lot of time.
That's
looking
probably
at
a
stuff,
good thing, but
I don't have a whole lot of time. But yeah,
but we have this like really big Facebook that has almost 10,000 people in it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so
this is in the private group.
Yeah, this is our Enchanted Journey membership. There's like 300 some odd people in here. Yeah, but I don't see that discount showing up, but I see it. We're losing comments for some reason, but Adelina is saying, Julie, that is so amazingly awesome of you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome. All right, cool. So if you guys have questions on the replay, anybody who watched this, I will, put them in here. And if I can't answer them, I will get them to Julie. And I'm going to make her come back and talk to us again about something or show us how to do something because
that sounds fun.
Yeah, we are your internet people.
I love it.
Well, I guess I'm your real life people now.
Yeah, you're real life.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Yeah, it's just comments stop showing up here. So Heather says thank you. All right. Well, you guys have a nice day out there, and thank you again, Julie.
You're welcome. This is fun.
And that's it. All right. I guess I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.